This is a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. Family Matters.
On Afternoons with Helen Farmer.
Fantastic to be joined on the line now by Cashman. She is an FS1 teacher at Heartland International School, and we're getting her thoughts on what it's like to be away from those little people who make it all worthwhile. Mairead, how long have you been a teacher?
Hi Helen, how are you? I've been teaching for the past 7 years. So I started off, I'm in Ireland, so I'm from Ireland. I taught for 5 years in Ireland, and then I made the move to Dubai and to Heartland, and I've been teaching at Heartland for the past 2 years.
Can I ask what drew you to the profession, especially working with those younger years?
I think it's very personal to everybody, but I grew up in a very busy house, and my mother always minded young children, and I think from a very young age we were always interacting with the children that she had in the house, and from there you can see the potential in young children, and this is one of the main reasons that I entered the teaching profession.
And how has the reality of teaching lived up to your expectations of what it would be like?
I think when you enter into the teaching profession, it's very new for you. I think as every year goes by, you become more comfortable and more confident in your abilities as a teacher. And I think the most important thing is that every day and every year and every class group is very different. And I think as teachers, we're very good at being able to adapt and change, and depending on the children that we have in front of us. So that's the most special thing for me, especially teaching young children, FS1 age, who are 3 and 4 years of age. And every day is different, and you cannot go into the classroom and think your day is going to run as smoothly as possible. There's always something new, there's always something different, and it depends on what the children bring into your classroom, what they bring, their little personalities and their interests. And I think as an FS1 teacher, what I've learned most of all is being able to adapt my teaching and being able to give leadership over to the young children in my classroom. And for me, that is the most amazing part of it.
Can you tell us, Mairead, a little bit about what your daily routine was like before COVID-19? What was what time you getting up? What kind of hours were you working then?
Sure, no problem. It seems strange to even think back now.
It feels like years ago, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, doesn't it? And we were just even talking with one of my friends, and we're saying now it has become like this is the new normal for us, and it's very normal what we're doing right now. So to even think back to before when we were in school, but my day used to start, I'd leave home at 6:30 a.m. and I'd welcome in my little FS1s from 7:30 a.m. And we had, I think in school you have like a structure and a routine, which is very, very important for young children. So we had from 7:30 to 8 a.m. Like a welcome, and they into the classroom, and then at 8 a.m. we started our day, and they had little carpet sessions, free play, exploration time, and then they had specialist activities. So they had PE, music, and most important, they had their breaks. And our day used to end for most children at 1:30 p.m. and then some children stayed until 3:30 p.m. For sibling club.
So your day was quite front-loaded then, and now everyone's doing distance learning at different times. What does your daily routine look like now that you're creating, implementing, and then communicating with the students perhaps all day? Yes,
I think it's very important that I still have keep a similar structure, in that you get up at a similar time to keep that routine. So we start again I have sessions at 8:15 a.m., which is a Zoom session, a live Zoom session with my little FS1s, and we try to limit it to 15-20 minutes because we're thinking about young children and their attention span and how long they can sit in front of an iPad or a computer. And then we go live. There's 5 live sessions throughout the day, but 2 of those would be specialist sessions, and I would meet them 3 times a day. And then we use another online system called a Padlet page, where we upload an activity grid, and there's different tasks for the children to complete throughout the week. So they upload pictures as they complete their work, and I have time to comment back on their work throughout the week.
And Mairead, how are you finding it? I know it was a very quick adjustment for a lot of teachers and schools.
Yes, I think from my article that I wrote, my blog post, it was trying to come to terms with the fact that it was a very quick decision, and while we knew it was coming, and it wasn't a surprise for any of us, it's just trying to get used to that new normal that I spoke about. For me, it was very hard to get used to not seeing the children, like in my classroom, that they're right there in front of me, and adjusting to seeing the children on a screen, and for them adjusting to seeing me through a screen, and building that confidence, because this is so new for all of us. And it was very tricky for me to come to terms with, I think, technology and the differences. So for young children, how we can support them and how they can become more confident with this online system, again, is one of the most important things.
One of the things I've heard from a few parents actually is that their children haven't really understood, especially in those younger years where they're at home, and some have made the assumption that everyone else is at school and that they're being held off school for, whatever reason. So actually these Zoom sessions can be really helpful for them to understand that their friends are at home as well. Do you think that there are other ways that we can help our kids understand the situation?
Yes, because I think that obviously it was a very fast decision, and now home has become something totally different for children, where they have to, engage in tasks that they would engage in school. And when you think about it from a young child's perspective, they're saying, why am I in school? Where's my teacher gone? So we really felt at Heartland the live sessions were the most important, because the children can see all of their friends, they can interact with their friends, they know that they're at home, and I can see from when we introduced our live sessions that the children are becoming way more comfortable and way more confident, which is really, really nice to see. And it is a very strange situation for all of us, but for young children especially, we want to keep, the fun and the silliness and the happiness that we always had in our classroom. So to try and bring those to a live session as well is very, very important for these young children.
Can I ask, you mentioned before that you'd learned kind of adaptability in teaching from those younger year students, and in the article that you wrote, you talked about quite a few things, and really, I thought, pertinent, meaningful things that you've learned from these little people. Would you mind just sharing some of the other things that come to mind when they've expanded your mind?
Yes, so I remember when I sat down to write this article or this blog post, it was for me just making sense of the whole situation. And I think I spoke about how honest young children are in the article. And for me, it's probably one of the biggest things, that they are so honest, and you can learn so much from them, in that they will tell you exactly what they're thinking. And from them, if there's a lesson and it's not going the right way, we have to change it straight away, because they will tell you, which is brilliant for us as teachers.
Brutal.
That, and that's the whole adaptability thing I was talking about. You learn very, very quickly with a young class, with young kids, that you have to change it. If you cannot hold their attention, you just have to change it straight away. And I also spoke about the importance of friendship, and I think especially with the current situation, that is probably one of the biggest things that the children are missing, is that sense of friendship. And in FS1, the most important thing is like communication and language, building friendships, learning how to sort disagreements. So when the whole school environment is taken away from children, how can we, support them in that way and keep those friendships going? So it's really, really nice that we have technology that will help us, so that they can see their friends, they can have a little chat with them. We're hoping to introduce smaller live sessions with a smaller group, so they get more interaction with each other. So that's what we're hoping to roll out in the next few weeks.
Can I ask you, and I ask this as a parent of a 5-year-old who isn't loving distance learning, and my stress levels are rising as a result of that. What kind of expectations do you personally have, and does Heartland have of parents, of students, especially those younger ones, when it comes to distance learning? Yeah,
I think what I feel is that each family is very different, and each family needs to find what works for them. So what we have rolled out in our FS at Heartland, we feel it is quite adaptable and quite flexible for parents. So we have 5 live sessions per day. We upload a maths and a literacy video per week and an activity grid per week. And the parents are free to pick and choose which activities they can complete with their children. They can be present at all 5 live sessions, or they can just choose to be present at 2 per day, depending on what suits you as a family. I think it is very important that children are present at some of these sessions, because, again, that's where we're getting the interaction, the communication and language and the friendships. But it is very personal to each family, because I know there are families that there are 3, 4 children engaged in distance learning, and it is quite difficult. So I think we need to be there to support our families as much as possible and to find what works for our families.
I think that's absolutely right. You know, and unfortunately, we do find ourselves thinking, oh, if only I had more time, if only I wasn't working, or if only my child, you know, didn't hate this. So trying to find your own groove.
Yeah. The most important thing is that, you know, this is a new situation for all of us. We're talking about teachers here, but it's a new situation for families and for children. And I think the most important thing is to stay positive. And if there's a day that you can't make all of the live sessions or you can't complete the activities, then that's okay. And then you move on to tomorrow and you start again. You know, so
I think we've started making it into a competition, which I have a very competitive child, so that worked this morning. I was like, it's a race, you know, Clea's at home doing hers, let's see how many we can get through, and she's like, rah, 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 you know, smashing through it. And I think being a bit fair to myself and understanding I'm not a teacher, I haven't done years of training, this is not a natural calling to me, and survival. I think overall my motto is done is better than perfect, and that's fine.
Yes, definitely. And to always, you know, your parents are doing an amazing job. Like our families at Heartland, they're so supportive and they are amazing. And we do have to think about, it's not just the teachers who are online, it's our families that support us at Heartland as well. And they are doing an amazing job. I think everybody needs to give themselves a pat on the back and say, you know, this is such a new situation. We're all kind of feeling our way through the dark. We're in week 4. It's very positive. We've made very positive changes at Heartland. But I think we can't do this on our own. It's not just teachers. It's our whole school community that are working together to create a really, really positive distance learning program for our children.
Right, thank you so much for your time and all of your hard work as well. It sounds like you're doing an amazing job, and I know you're missing those little ones very, very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So hopefully it won't be too long until you're back in the classroom.
Oh, I'm hoping.
Take care of yourself, stay home and stay safe.
Thank you very much. So nice to speak to you.
You've been listening to a Dubai Eye 103.8 podcast. To enjoy lots more from Dubai Eye in the United Arab Emirates, just go to DubaiEye1038.com or find them wherever you normally get your podcasts.